I'm going to go ahead and just speak some truths, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Because my understanding, based on reports I'm getting from campaigns and communities, is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly.
So at this point, Obama pulls up to a campaign stop to Kamala Harris's headquarters. I believe this is in Pennsylvania. And this is before he goes on to do a rally and a speech. So the Democrats have basically pulled out the big guns. They said, look, we're not getting the traction that we think that we are. These polls is lying to the American people, trying to make it seem like the race is closer than it really is. Trump is absolutely trouncing her all across the board. J.D. Vance just got done beating up on Tim Walz inside of a debate. And they're concerned that we don't have the same enthusiasm that Kamala Harris can generate versus what he experienced in 2008 and in 2012. And so Obama feels the need to come and speak directly to the brothers, to black men. He's never spoken to us before, never had any enthusiasm for us unless we were voting for him. Now they feel as though they can bamboozle us and hit us with the ooh-op shebang, the okie doke, a second time around with a second candidate, and we're supposed to be enthusiastic about voting for Kamala Harris based off of identity politics instead of what's best for our country, instead of what's best for our family, instead of what's best for our people and our neighborhoods. And Democrats have been running this country as far as being in the White House the last 12 of the 16 years, including times that he was in there. His enduring message was to the alphabet community, but we gonna get through it. We gonna play this whole thing. And he knows the cameras is on, so this is not hidden. And he's speaking specifically to us black men. Let's see what the message is.
And say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you,
then how come she ain't marry one of us? Don't worry about it. We'll get there. Obama is our new punching bag. They wanted to parade him around like he's the Messiah. Let's let him cook. We're going to get some more context before we stop this and react to it.
understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences. Who's had to work harder and do more and overcome and achieves the second highest office in the land.
Given to us.
And is putting forward concrete proposals to directly address the things that are vital in our neighborhoods and our communities. From housing to making sure that our mothers and our fathers and our grandparents can afford medicine. And making sure that we are dealing with prices that are too high and rents that are too high, and are committed to making sure that we maintain the Affordable Care Act, so everybody's got help here, and cares about things like education and entrepreneurship in our neighborhoods. And that's on one side. And on the other side, you have someone who has consistently shown disregard, not just for the communities, but for you as a person. And you're thinking about sitting out? coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly now, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president.
He really think that he really spitting right now. He really think that this is 2008. He really think that this is his era. This is his generation where he can talk to us and we supposed to get inspired by your hope message when we can look at what happened over the last 3.5 years and compare it to what happened in 2016 through 2020. And when I do a compare and contrast, I realize that the opportunities were greater and we had better times than what we've experienced over the last 3.5 years. Hey, family, black people, black men in particular. We gonna use the whole you don't want a woman to lead you trope to then justify you and use reverse psychology to get you to go out there and vote for a person that is completely incompetent. Completely incompetent. She admitted that she'd be no different than what Biden has implemented and that she was in the room for overwhelming majority of the decisions, especially the important ones, that's happened over the last 3.5 years. So we supposed to ignore the record inflation. We supposed to ignore all of these proxy wars. We supposed to ignore what's happening in Israel and Ukraine. We supposed to ignore just what recently happened with the Hurricane Helene situation. We're supposed to ignore the migrant crisis and just vote for her just because she black and she a woman and because she Democrat and because that's what our parents did before us that led us down into this trap and this problem area in the first place. This is y'all fault. Y'all have controlled the White House the last 12 of the 16 years. And the only time that we had troops coming home, the only time that we had unprecedented peace, the only time that we had prosperity, the only time that we got a tax cut, the only time we started really talking about closing off our borders and building better walls, the only time that we was really, really dedicated to renegotiating the North America Free Trade Agreement and putting tariffs on China in order to save some of our industries as our manufacturing base continued to leave the United States of America was when Trump was in office. Now, we supposed to simp out for women because what? Because you said so?
And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that.
No, we not. No, we not. We telling you directly to your face. We identify with masculinity. We don't always 100% agree with every single thing that Trump says, but guess what? He says what he feels and he means what he says, and we not willing to deal with another chameleon or person to sell you hopes and dreams, don't have no way to pay for it, and continue to throw us under the bus while continuing to let unprecedented amount of migrants into this country to take over your cities and the towns. And we supposed to mobilize with you. Why? Because we black? Get the hell out of here, bro. Where they find him at, man? Send him back to Chicago or wherever it is that he had to focus on building his presidential library. But this is nonsense, bro. Never been so disappointed in this guy in my entire life, man.
And I think anybody you are talking to in a barbershop, anybody you are talking to in your house, in your family, at church, who is coming with that kind of attitude, I think you have to ask them, well, how can that be? Because the women in our lives have been getting our backs this entire time.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Somebody read Bill
They've been
Obama.
raising us and working and having our backs. And when we get in trouble and the system's not working for us, they're the ones who are out there marching and protesting. And so now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you because you think that's a sign of strength. Because
no more simping. Trump 2024. Let's bring masculinity back. Let's bring closing off our borders back. Let's bring focusing on America first back. Let's bring American manufacturing back. Let's bring focusing on bringing the best things of the past into the future, and we need to go back and make America great again. I've never been more enthused about making sure that we mobilize and we focus on getting the Republican Party elected. I'm never going back to the Democratic plantation with these liberal policies, especially from a person whose main purpose and whose main legacy is to advocate for a community that then replaced you from the civil rights movement over to the feminist movement, all the way over into the alphabet community movement. And now we got this migrant crisis on our hand. Y'all better wake up talking about Obama. Nobody care about what Obama think. We love you. We appreciate you. Let me know what's inside of the chat. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Get on After Hours tonight. We're going to talk about this on After Hours. And then last but not least, certainly not least, get your tickets. Coming to a city near you. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Y'all with Obama or no?